Okay, so good morning everyone, and today we are going to have discussion on quadratic equation. So let us have a glance on quadratic equation. So this particular chapter is taken from 10th standard CBSE, and we will be having a discussion completely on today on basic concepts only today, and in another videos I will be bringing that how to solve that quadratic equation. So in this video what I am going to discuss that what actually is the quadratic equation. So as you have seen in the slide, it is already written that any polynomial of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is called a quadratic equation. Whenever there will be equal to some constant or some algebraic expression, then it will be called as quadratic equation. So a polynomial which is having highest degree 2 and it is equated to some constant, then it will be called as a quadratic equation. Okay, so here you can see ax square plus bx plus c is called quadratic polynomial, and whereas ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is called quadratic equation. So it should be of this form, and where a is the coefficient of x square, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant. Okay, so x minus y is equal to 5, what I have written. So this is linear equation in two variable. It cannot be called as quadratic equation. Okay, so for a quadratic equation compulsorily we must have a polynomial of highest degree 2 compulsorily, and it should be equated when we are calling it as equation, so equated to 0 or some constant. Okay, now from CBSE NCERT book exercise 4.1 we will be discussing some of the questions for your reference. So here in question number 1, what it is given that check whether the following are quadratic equation or not. So some equations are given, and we need to identify and we need to prove that whether these equations are quadratic equation, or sometimes some expressions which are given, it may not be a quadratic equation. Okay, so we have already seen that quadratic equation should be of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So it means we need to solve here. We need to solve the expression which is given. So at the first one, x plus 1 whole square is equal to 2 into x minus 3. Then in next step it is x square plus 2x plus 1. We have already applied the formula a plus b whole square, which is written at the right hand side. So a square plus 2ab plus b square, and so it has become x square plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 2x minus 6, and this 2x and 2x has got cancelled after coming to the left hand side. From right hand side it has changed its sign, and we have got ultimately x square plus 7 is equal to 0, and x square plus 7 can be written in the form x square plus 0x plus 7 is equal to 0, which is of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, and which is the necessary requirement for a quadratic equation. Okay, so here we have found a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 0 coefficient, and c is 7 here. Okay, now third one is given x minus 2 into x plus 1 is equal to x minus 1 into x plus 3. Again we are going for solving it. So we have got x square plus x minus 2x minus 2 LHS side, and RHS we have got x square plus 3x minus x minus 3, and when we have solved we have got x square minus x minus 2 is equal to right hand side x square plus 2x minus 3, and x square has got cancelled. Okay, and when we have brought here, so we have got minus x minus 2x minus 2 plus 3, which has become minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. So it means because x square is missing here, so highest degree is 1 there. Okay, it is linear equation in one variable we have got. It means it is not a quadratic equation because it is not of the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Correct? Okay, so compulsorily the quadratic equation which is given to us, it must be of the form, even you can say x square is equal to 0 is also a quadratic equation. So b can be 0, c can be 0, it is acceptable. Okay, so though a, b and c are any integers, but a cannot be 0 except 0. Otherwise b and c can be 0 also, and any integer. Right, like fifth one I have solved in right hand side. So in orange color you can see 2x minus 1 into x minus 3 is equal to x plus 5 into x minus 1. So 2x square minus 6x minus x plus 3 after solving it. Okay, after multiplication and right hand side we have got x square minus x plus 5x minus 5, and then further when we have solved, so it has become 2x square minus 7x plus 3 is equal to x square plus 4x minus 5, and when we have solved, so 2x square minus x square minus 7x minus 4x plus 3 plus 5. Why? Because from right hand side we have shifted all the you can say variables and constants to the left hand side, and where it had changed their sign, okay, in this shifting process, and we have got right hand side x square minus 11x plus 8 is equal to 0. Okay, so as x square is available here and others are also available, minus 11x plus 8, so it is pakka of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, and it is the form of quadratic equation which is acceptable. Okay, so that's why we can say that this particular expression is a quadratic equation. So in this way we have identified, we solved quadratic equations. So we have not solved, sorry, we have not solved, we just you can say learned here that what actually is quadratic equation, how can we identify a quadratic equation, and which is the coefficient of x square. Okay, one more thing I want to tell you, a quadratic equation is having highest degree 2. So if any polynomial is having combination of two variables x and y, then also you can say that it can have highest degree 2. So no, in that case it will not be called as quadratic equation, especially highest degree will be 2, okay, of that polynomial, but it will not be a quadratic polynomial, or quadratic equation cannot be formed from that. Okay, so two variables should not get involved, only with one variable. So in a quadratic equation we must get one variable. So x square if it is there, so another one x only it should be there. So that's why we have written ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So it should be of that form only. Okay, that is only acceptable, and further it is not acceptable that we can say that xy plus or x square plus 2xy plus 1 is equal to 0. So no, it cannot be accepted. Even xy we are writing there, so there it will become degree 2 only. Okay, so what is the requirement? The requirement is it should be of one variable. X square should be there, and as I told you that a can be any integer acceptable except 0, whereas b can be b and c can be any integer including 0, yes. Okay, so this is quadratic equation, and we identified, and now we will be able to find out the coefficient also. So like as here in first one, x square plus 0x plus 7 is there. Sometimes you will be asked question that indicate the coefficients of x, indicate the coefficient of x square, or indicate the constant which is there in the equation. So at that time you need to find out, if suppose that term itself is missing, because here x square plus 7, so x term is missing. So what is b? So it means b is understood, it will be 0, because if 0 is multiplied with anything, whether it is variable or whether it is constant, everything will become 0. 0 into world will become 0. Okay, so that is the main thing, it is there. Okay, so if any term is missing, but if x square itself is missing, you cannot say, we can say that coefficient of x square is 0, but that will not be the quadratic equation. We can say it is a 0 coefficient, but it will not become quadratic equation. If the x square is missing completely, totally, it is becoming 0, then we cannot term it as quadratic equation, gentlemen. Okay, so I hope till now whatever description I have given to you in one slide itself completely I have explained. Most of you will be telling that in one slide itself you have explained, sir. So of course I have explained. Okay, so thank you very much.